let's head to Death Valley. We're going to talk some LSU, UCLA recruiting impact. It was an exciting recruiting weekend. Is number 16 LSU. There was a bunch of top prospects on campus. One, he wasn't a surprise, meaning he showed up as a surprise on Saturday, but the news did break on the On3 network on Friday that Jahkeem Stewart would be there. The number one player in the 26 class is, well, there's rumors that he could be reclassifying to 2025, which means his recruitment would be sped up very fast once he makes that announcement. So we're still waiting on that. But today, Jahkeem Stewart was in Baton Rouge. Brian Kelly and the Tigers have the number 3 ranked recruiting class in America. And it was a big weekend for them. DJ Pickett, the Bradford brothers, Mario Nash, who's committed to Mississippi State, was on campus. The number 1 quarterback in the 27 cycle, Elijah Haven, he was at LSU this weekend. Steve, what is the recruiting impact from LSU's big win?
Well, prospects always have a great time when they visit LSU, from the culture, the diversity, the coaching staff, the stadium atmosphere. It wasn't a night game at LSU tonight, but recruits still had a fantastic time watching the Tigers get a win over UCLA and improving to 3-1. I haven't put it on our website yet, but Mario Nash just got back to me, Mississippi State offensive line commit. So these are fresh quotes. The offensive line was dominant. The game was very exciting, and LSU continued to fight. Coach Bo Davis is a great coach. That's their offensive line coach. Just a great place to be. I asked him where LSU stands compared to Mississippi State, and he told me that LSU is definitely on my mind, but I'm still committed to State. I'm just taking things one day at a time. Me and my family would decide best in the end. But there were some times where it looked like LSU was in great position for Mario Nash. We've talked about it at nauseum on Inside Scoop and Whip Long Whip Around. Anytime Brian Kelly's involved in a recruiting class, they are going to recruit the offensive line. Great. It's going to be a point of emphasis every cycle. That's going to be the strength of his football teams. I think it's one of the strengths of LSU's football team last year when they had the number 1 offense in the country. That goes again this year as they look to get things back on track with 3 wins in a row since the opener loss to USC. But getting Jahkeem Stewart there, Josh, very interesting, because when you talk to people around Jahkeem Stewart throughout the process, they always have pointed towards USC and Ohio State having momentum at various times. But we just know that when it's time, when decision time is coming, that LSU is going to be a program that's going to be there in the end. Frank Wilson, his in-state recruiting, how connected he is, the regular dialogue he has with Jahkeem Stewart in his camp, the comfortability. You know, he's had a great time in camp working with Coach Bo Davis, their new defensive line coach. He camped with them in the summer. He's had some great visits to USC. He's had some great visits to Ohio State. Oregon's a factor for Jahkeem Stewart. I accidentally omitted Oregon in my story, but they're a factor for him. Definitely. And he's not playing games. He originally was going to be playing games that was going to prevent him from taking game visits because he was going to play on a lot of Saturdays, but now he's transferred to Edna Carr, all, in my opinion, to enroll early in 2025 and not in 2026. And when all said and done, LSU is going to have a great chance to land Jahkeem Stewart.
Yeah, and he was one of the big name visitors on campus, but so was DJ Pickett. And I thought it was incredibly interesting, well, not interesting, but important for him to be on campus this weekend, because he started the year watching the Miami Hurricanes in the Swamp. A week later, he was down in Miami to see them play. And he's in communication has never stopped with DJ Pickett in Miami. So to see him back at LSU, I thought it was huge. Also to be around so many commits, like a guy like a Harlem Berry. Let's bring in Hayes Fawcett, because he's dealt with a lot of these LSU commitments, from DJ Pickett to Harlem Berry to Bryce Underwood. What's been your impression of some of these LSU commitments and how they went down?
Yeah, LSU obviously has one of the top classes in 2025. I believe it's a top 3 class, headlined by 5-star plus, number 1 overall recruit, Bryce Underwood. You know, we have Harlem Berry committed, DJ Pickett on 3's number 1 cornerback. Really just a great class top to bottom. And yeah, I mean, it's obviously big having guys like Pickett and, Harlan Berry was there today, JT Lindsey, Jahkeem Stewart. Just overall, LSU has a great class in 2025.
Yeah, that Derek Meadows pickup late in the summer was a big one when he delayed that recruitment. We all thought maybe it was going to be Notre Dame, maybe it was going to be LSU. He delays it a week. It ends up being LSU. They get the big-bodied wide receiver to go with the Bryce Underwood. Just a really loaded class. I mean, but Steve, before we get out of here, talk a little on DJ Pickett and kind of the teams that are still involved in his recruitment.
Well, I talked to DJ Pickett's dad tonight. He was not able to go on the visit with DJ. He was coaching DJ's younger brother in his own football game, but he texted with DJ, and DJ said it was a great atmosphere. He figured that DJ, by the time I was talking to his dad, he figured DJ was in the locker room hanging out. As Hayes alluded to last week, look, that DJ Pickett recruitment was a war. And at one point, like with a week to go in the process, DJ wasn't going to LSU. He was going somewhere else. But in my opinion, LSU is a program that has, if you add up what program led the most over the last 6 months, I probably would have pointed towards them. So I think it came full circle. He's very comfortable there. He seems at peace with his decision. He's still going through his process, talking to Miami. Mario Cristobal is leading the charge there. He's going to be back for the Florida State game, but he's going to be back for 2 more LSU games, Oklahoma and Alabama. And so I think he's excited to play for Corey Raymond, DBU. His family's got relationships with Patrick Peterson. And I think LSU showed that they can close these blue chip recruitments. I mean, they closed Bryce Underwood early. We haven't heard a thing about him looking around at all. He's locked in. Derek Meadows was one that LSU came on strong late. He was definitely the intel favored other programs for him as well. So LSU has showed this cycle, flipping Cade Phillips, that they can win big-time players in crunch time when their decision is really approaching with their final pitch. And DJ Pickett was one of them, and he seems really at peace and happy about his decision, and his family saying he's 1,000% locked in. We'll see how the rest of the season goes. Miami wore down South Florida today too. They are clicking on all cylinders. Another big win for them on the road at night. It's hard to win on the road at night.
Absolutely. All right. I wanted to ask you one more question about LSU. We know that they get ahead in recruiting, like you just said. You illustrated that. And this weekend was a good example. Quarterback Elijah Haven, the number 1 quarterback in the 2027 cycle, was on campus. Joe Sloan just doesn't stop recruiting quarterbacks, does he, Steve?
No, not at all. He's actually going to go see Elijah Haven play on Thursday. That's what his dad, Kwame, told me. LSU, they had 3 2027 quarterbacks on campus today. They all had a fantastic time. Elijah Haven, his dad, they talked about getting to spend time with Coach Sloan and Coach Kelly before the game. Said that they're both down to earth, really great people. He's going to go visit Alabama for the Georgia game. That'll be their first time up at Alabama. The process is still pretty new for Elijah Haven, but he's already been over to LSU a bunch, and certainly that's a program he's excited about. The number 3 quarterback in the country, Colton Nussmeier, was on campus there today to watch his brother carve up UCLA for 352 yards and 3 touchdowns. He obviously feels at home at LSU and likes the atmosphere there, but he's on his own. He's on his own recruitment, and his dad's an NFL coach that's coached in the SEC and coached everywhere, played in the NFL. So that everyone's going to do what's best for them. And then Trent Seaborn was there as well, state champion from Alabaster Thompson, that also got time with Brian Kelly and Joe Sloan and feels very much a priority, just like those guys. So to your point, Joe Sloan just has extra hours in the day. His days are 25 hours long. Everybody else that recruits quarterbacks is 24 hours long, with how good a job he does connecting with quarterbacks and building real relationships with them. He keeps in touch with guys that aren't committed. He still, he trades messages with guys committed elsewhere. He's not looking for another 25 quarterback. He just has meaningful relationships with other guys and maintains those, which there's no better time to do that when we're in the biggest portal era ever. You never know when a relationship may come.
I was going to say, you might as well just keep them all warm. You never know. Never
He's
know.
not trying to go in the portal, though. He's got some good quarterbacks on his roster that he recruited, and Bryce Underwood's coming in. But he does a fantastic job.
All right, LSU fans, how we feeling after the big win over UCLA? Let us know. What's your thoughts on recruiting? Comment section below.